You can hear me though? Or you can hear me now. Let's see. Is that better? Sometimes I forget to turn the sound on.
One day,
Is it too
there's going to
loud,
be
by the way,
definitive
since
proof
you're
of
here?
one
One day
Is it like
more.
It's going to be one. There's going to be definitive
an
proof of
equal
something
amount of
happening,
sound?
and I'm going to be there when that day happens, Brent.
And
I'm
this
gonna
is
be
when we
there.
know the video is
No,
over.
and I'm gonna be there, and you know, no, yeah, you can walk away like you always do, but one day it's gonna happen, and trust me, sir, I will be there, and I won't even say anything. I'll just smile at you, like this.
All right.
Drop it on Disney Plus to see all your favorites.
Head to Hulu to watch the latest hits, movies.
Pop by ESPN Plus to catch a game or an original.
Looking for your next streaming destination? Come to Bundletown.
Get the Disney Bundle only $13.99 a month.
This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we're covering the Illuminati. Is it a real thing? What the hell is it?
It's not a thing.
All right, approach it with an open mind.
Okay,
Let's
hopefully
get
that's
started.
better.
Shockingly, the Illuminati actually has a very real historical foundation. In 1776, in Bavaria, Germany, Adam Weishaupt, a German professor inspired by the ideals of French philosophy, namely secularism and rational thought, decided to form an organization to protect those
Hopefully it's,
beliefs.
like,
Adam Weishaupt
a little more
considered joining
even
the
now.
Freemasons to help propagate his views, but unfortunately could not afford the admission fee.
So this is already a poor man's something.
Yeah, basically, I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, you're right.
So instead, Weishaupt formed a secret group of his own. He called it the Order of the Illuminati.
So this is just a bunch of hobos and rapscallions who.
Thanks for hanging out,
Down
Uber.
by
I
the train
appreciate it.
tracks.
I don't think they meant by the train tracks. It was probably a basement, kind of like this. It's probably
a
something like
little
this.
bit, yeah.
I don't know why I'm holding that. Okay.
The Illuminati had an anti-religious stance and focused on the goals of self-knowledge, self-improvement, social reform, and free thought. Naturally, conservatives considered this a threat to the church, and by the mid to late 1780s, the Illuminati was stopped, and the act of recruiting people into secret societies was criminalized. However, Weishaupt and the Illuminati would go Kobe in the fourth quarter and
Okay, all right. Let's move. Keep going.
and continue to push on, persisting with meetings and eventually spreading to France before disappearing into obscurity. But some people believe they survived. Here's part of an interview I had with an expert.
Well, they believe that the core group was formed back then and has evolved. And so back in the 1920s, there were some fascists who believed that the Illuminati were a group of Jews who controlled the world. Right after World War II, the extremist anti-communists believed that the Illuminati were a group of communists who controlled the world. And most recently, the Illuminati conspiracy theorists believe that the Illuminati are part of the New World Order.
Many people believe the Illuminati seek to make a dominant one-world totalitarian government, referred to as the New World Order. In fact, in a 2013 national poll by Public Policy Polling, 28% of voters polled believed in the possibility of a New World Order.
28% of people probably believe that the sun moves around the earth.
Well, I don't have any scientific polls for that, so.
I'm just saying, people are dumb.
Okay.
Some people believe that the influence of the Illuminati and the New World Order goes as high as the President of the United States.
Oh.
Here's an eerie clip from an old George H.W. Bush speech when he was in office.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
He does have a weird little smile when he says it.
You know that part where he's like, if this new world order could be successful, and then he looks, and it will be.
And it
That's
will
not
be.
creepy? That'll make your spine tingle a little
Look,
bit?
he's the president of the United States. He has to be forthright. He has to be confident. What kind of message would it send if he was like, if this is successful, let's hope so.
All this begs the question, what is the New World Order and what will it do? Assuming the Illuminati and the New World Order are one and the same, let's hop down the rabbit hole and take a look at some of the theories as to who is in the New World Order. The first theory is from a man named Mark Kornke, aka Mark from Michigan. a right-wing militia activist and propagandist who believes that the New World Order is made up of the US government, the UN, and various other organizations pushing an international agenda. He believes this organization will take away Americans' rights, form an all-powerful government, and put non-Illuminati members in camps run by FEMA.
So 1% of the world is going to put 99% of the world in camps? At that point, by the way, the camps are so big that the 1% is inside them.
Look, it's hard to defend Mark from Michigan, I'm not gonna lie. This is just one of the theories as to who is in this New World Order
I can't wait
Illuminati.
for the parade of other experts you've got lined up.
The second theory is from David Icke, who believes that world leaders, including Queen Elizabeth, President Barack Obama, and the Clintons, are actually shape-shifting lizards.
So this is the one that you're really into? You believe this one?
I never said that. I
You
just
know,
said there's other ones.
I
These
know
lizard
people
elite
who
are behind the
really
Freemasons
believe
and the
this.
Illuminati. The lizard race feeds off the human
really
race
believe
and
it.
occasionally demands human sacrifices. In fact, the same 2013 national poll I mentioned earlier revealed that 4% of voters polled believe that, quote, lizard people control our societies.
4% of voters.
That's actually a pretty good amount of people that believe they're shape-shifting lizards at the center of everything. you
Is
know?
there an origin story for these lizard people?
I'm sure there is. I figured, you know what? I don't know if I need to know that.
The third theory is that the New World Order is connected to the Antichrist because the Illuminati are Satanists. Pat Robertson, a conservative Christian, wrote a book on the New World Order that claims the group is responsible for the French Revolution, the writing of the Communist Manifesto,
I don't know. I fear
and the creation
Christians
of the
more
Federal
than I fear
Reserve, all in the
Satanists.
service of making,
So.
quote, a new order for the human race under the domination of Lucifer and his followers, end quote.
So the Federal Reserve was created to spite Jesus. Lucifer was like pulling numbers.
I mean, you got a lot of time on your hands, right? If you're Lucifer.
He's busy.
Why would he be busy? Hell's supposed to be an awful place. I imagine the place is terribly maintained.
He's torturing the souls of all the monsters throughout history. There's a lot of dead people, and he's like poking them all with little sticks.
The fourth theory is from Donald Marshall, who believes that the Illuminati are killing celebrities and replacing them with clones used to brainwash society.
Clones, though, like they're not coming out fully baked. They're babies.
Well, that's one theory. Some believe it could be like a, like a Xerox machine.
Xeroxing is not how cloning works,
How do
Ryan.
you know? What are you, a clone expert now? I'm just saying, there's a possibility.
You're creating a similar embryo with the same DNA. It has to grow.
There's no way we could tell what's actually like the process.
I mean,
Like,
we can tell because they have cloned things.
What things have they cloned?
A sheep.
I don't believe you.
Look it up.
I'll fucking look it up.
Look
right
up
now.
Dolly the sheep.
All right, fine. I'll look it up. And did she start off as a little baby sheep?
Yes.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah,
apparently
there's a
there was a sheep clone. Whatever.
Oh, apparently.
Purported celebrity clones outed by internet sleuths include Beyonce, Eminem, Al Roker.
Al Roker. Hang on.
Yeah. Who could he possibly influence? Even when he tells the
I
weather.
don't believe a word he says.
And many more. But clone theorists also believe they have video evidence.
Marshall Mathers. Some of you may know him as Eminem, but he's going to join the Saturday Night Crew with our music intro starting next Saturday night. But folks, I want to take you to the world premiere. Marshall, when you did that? Yeah, sorry. Live TV. Live TV freaks me out a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Live TV freaks him out a little bit.
Well, here's Al Roker's clip. Notice what she says, and then notice what his face goes
Why
to.
is this a code word? It's not how cloning works,
How do
Ryan.
you know? What are you, a clone expert now? I'm just saying, there's a possibility.
You're creating a similar embryo with the same DNA. It has to grow.
There's no way we could tell what's actually like the process.
I mean,
Like,
we can tell because they have cloned things.
What things have they cloned?
A sheep.
I don't believe you.
Look it up.
I'll fucking look it up.
Look
right
up
now.
Dolly the sheep.
All right, fine. I'll look it up. And did she start off as a little baby sheep?
Yes.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah,
apparently
it was a
there was a sheep clone. Whatever.
Oh, apparently.
Purported celebrity clones outed by internet sleuths include Beyonce, Eminem, Al Roker.
Al Roker. Hang on.
Yeah. Who could he possibly influence? Even when he tells the
I
weather.
don't believe a word he says.
And many more. But clone theorists also believe they have video evidence.
Marshall Mathers. Some of you may know him as Eminem, but he's going to join the Saturday Night Crew with our music intro starting next Saturday night. But folks, I want to take you to the world premiere. Marshall, when you did that? Yeah, sorry. Live TV. Live TV freaks me out a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Live TV freaks him out a little bit.
Well, here's Al Roker's clip. Notice what she says, and then notice what his face goes to.
Why, is this a code word?
Some people believe maybe it's like a trigger sequence where his brain's now receiving instructions to be mind controlled.
Al Roker's like the Manchurian candidate, and he's gonna kill the president?
Yeah.
Like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost.
The expression he has on his face when he's frozen is so fucking funny to me every time I watch it, because I don't know what it is. It's like,
Maybe
well,
he just thinks
you know
that
what,
she's
actually,
like dumb for saying
He looks
that.
like he just pooped his pants. Who's next?
This is Beyonce. By the way, she did this for so long, I had to speed up the video.
Drugs.
So there she is going, and then I sped up the video here. She's in some weird trance. I actually don't know what she's doing.
She's writing Lemonade in her head right now.
Whether or not people believe this clone theory, many conspiracy theorists agree that major celebrities are in the Illuminati. They point to clothing choices and hand gestures, mainly that of a pyramid, which is seen as an Illuminati symbol, as proof that certain celebrities are in the Illuminati.
Beyonce and Jay-Z have been known to make a pyramid-like symbol with their hands, although this is also similar to the symbol for Jay-Z's label, Rockefeller Records.
Right.
But to flip on that, perhaps there's a reason why he chose that symbol. See what I just did there?
Yeah, you did it right.
I did it.
The name of their child, Blue Ivy, has been interpreted to stand for Born Living Under Evil, Illuminati's very youngest.
Wow. I can't believe they would name her something with so obvious a secret message in there.
However, both stars have denied their affiliation with the Illuminati in songs. Here's an excerpt from Beyonce's Formation. Quote, "Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess." End quote. And here's an excerpt from Jay-Z's verse in the song Freemason. Quote, "I said I was amazing, not that I'm a Mason. I'm red hot, I'm on my third six, but a devil, I'm not." End quote.
Is this their game? Do they claim that the Illuminati like to just tease people with little hints?
In my mind, okay, I'm in this very, very elite 1% club, right? But it's a secret club.
You can't tell anyone
But it's
about
fucking dope that I'm in this club, right?
Yeah.
So let me just give a little wink wink to let people know what's up.
The gang leader, formerly known as A-Frame, continues to maintain his innocence despite insurmountable evidence against him.
This man may be a lot of things, but I'm telling
Other celebrities include Kanye West, who owns a necklace containing the symbol of the Eye of Horus, which is associated with the Illuminati, and also seen on the dollar bill.
Which, by the way, the Fed, dollar bill, there it is right there. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Kanye's interruption of Taylor Swift at the 2009 Video Music Awards was said to be a method of initiating Taylor Swift into the Illuminati by humiliating or hazing her.
So this has just moved to like frat level hazing?
However, here's a quote from Kanye on the Illuminati. Quote, "I'm tired of people pinpointing musicians as the Illuminati. That's ridiculous. We don't run anything. We're celebrities." End quote. Other celebrities that have been accused of being in the Illuminati include Lady Gaga, Rihanna, Madonna, and Katy Perry, just to name a few.
I bet, you know what? I bet Kobe's in the Illuminati.
See what you just did?
Jesus Christ. Sorry, Kobe.
The whole room is shaking right now. Oh my God, I think we just had an earthquake.
I'm sorry, Kobe.
Keep in mind that it's pretty easy to make a claim that somebody is in the Illuminati. Hell, quickly perusing my coworker Quinta Brunson's Instagram feed, I could see several references to the Illuminati by just
Really?
looking through the pictures. Yeah, there's even a picture where I myself make the Rockefeller sign in one of her pictures, and it was quickly called out by a comment. Illuminati confirmed. That's great. She also seems to be absent from her desk quite frequently, perhaps to attend to Illuminati affairs. What if you're in the Illuminati?
Look, I am not in the Illuminati.
Wink.
I am not in the
protect.
Illuminati. Quinta's not in the Illuminati. You may be.
It is pretty hard to get into. And on that note, I'd like to point to a website called IlluminatiOfficial.org. And on that site, there's a page called Join the Illuminati. A very fascinating proposition indeed. So I reached out for an interview. And here's what I got back from their public relations director. By the way, if the Illuminati is a real thing, the fact that they have a PR director, fucking amazing, right? That's super funny to me, that there's someone sitting in a cubicle somewhere going, that's not the right move.
Yeah.
Too many triangles in the last dress.
Roker's staring at the camera again. we gotta make a new Roker. God damn it, that's our fourth Roker.
Here's what the alleged Illuminati PR director wrote back in response to my interview request. Quote, "Unfortunately, members of the Illuminati are not currently available for on-camera interviews." End quote.
Yeah, it's like
She
Milo
also
Hat.
mentioned, quote, "There are many misconceptions about my client's organization." End quote. and referred me to the website's beliefs section, which is abstract and quite interesting to say the least.
But let's visit the professor one more time. Ugh. I guess the last question would be, what percentage would you put on that the Illuminati is actually a real thing?
Well, it was a real thing, back in 1780, but it's not a real thing anymore. I would say 100% it's not a real thing. Most of the conspiracy theories make this.
What did I do?
This crazy leap at some point where you're following the trail of evidence and it makes sense, and suddenly it's crazy.
I could see a world where sometimes things go beyond science or fact. That leap of faith is what you need to get to the truth. Maybe that's just the crazy person inside me. But
I like how you just out yourself as one of the crazy people that she finds exhausting.
Here's the thing. I saw the look on her face when I mentioned that.
Yeah.
She did not look pleased. Am I gonna say outright the Illuminati is a real thing? No, I'm not gonna say that. But is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Why not? The fact that there could be some all-knowing organization under everything.
Are they Skyping? How are they meeting? Where are they meeting?
Maybe they're meeting.
Let's just meet in Toledo this year at the Radisson.
You've angered them again.
Yeah.
Don't talk about Toledo. The point I'm saying is, nothing's impossible. Sometimes you just gotta look at something with an open mind. It may seem crazy on the surface, and then I will admit, this all looks crazy.
So it is possible that there is a organization founded by lizard people who regularly abduct and clone celebrities.
I'm not saying that there's lizard. Oh, fuck, that's what I'm saying.
Say lizard people out loud.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Own it, Ryan. Say lizard people out loud.
We could sit here and talk about this all day, but regardless, the existence of the Illuminati will remain unsolved.
Well, let us know in the comments if you think Ryan's in the Illuminati, because now I'm sold.
Okay. The good news is you made it through this episode. The bad news is this is the last episode for this season of BuzzFeed Unsolved. However, double good news. Double good news.
Double good news.
Double good news is there's a new season, kids. And if I'm still alive in October, the new season will begin. So hopefully I'll see you there, and I'll be breathing.
If you aren't murdered.
And all the people that I've slighted having killed me. The Zodiac, or the Men in Black, or the Illuminati, or of course, Quinta Brunson.
Fridays. It's almost like whoever named the best day of the week was trying to tell us to celebrate it with fries. Free Fry Fridays at Mickey D's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
We're on our way to the Winchester.
This is Ghost Town.
We're going to Mexico.
The terrifying Island of the Dolls. It's gonna be our showdown with the demon to end the trip.
What the fuck was that?
Today on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we cover multiple cases and visit some of the most haunted, horrifying places in the world in an effort to answer some questions that I've always been curious about. Are ghosts and demons real? And if they are real, can they manipulate, harm, and perhaps even kill the living? Right now, we're in San Jose, California at Sacred Heart Church to talk to Father Gary Thomas. In 2005, Father Thomas was sent all the way to Rome to the Vatican to learn the rite of exorcism. A movie was actually based on his experiences in Rome, starring Anthony Hopkins. Basically, this dude's the real deal. We're gonna be happy that we talked to him and had his guidance when we go to some of these places.
Yeah, I think so. We better stock up on some knowledge here, otherwise we're gonna get murdered by ghosts.
You're gonna be thankful that we're meeting this guy later, I promise you. I promise you, you will regret that statement. First off, thank you for meeting with us, Father Thomas.
Sure.
I've read a lot about you.
Oh, thanks.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
How many exorcisms have you performed over your career?
Formal exorcisms, I've probably performed 50 to 75 in 10 years.
What is the difference between a ghost and
I'm
a
so
demon?
torn on exorcisms.
A ghost would refer to a disembodied human soul. A demon
Part of me
is a
thinks it's
preternatural, angelic
abuse,
creature.
Because
that rebelled
half of these
against
people
God.
you think are
It's not
possessed are
human.
probably
No, it's
just
not.
mentally
Their
ill.
life form
More
is
than half.
dying. They've been dying since the moment they rebelled. And so they are
I'm not
attracted
there,
to human
so I
beings for
can't
two
really
reasons.
say.
One, because they are parasitic and they feed off our life form. But secondly, their goal is to take as many of us to hell with them as possible because they already know they've lost. I'm not trying to evangelize you.
I just got a shiver down my spine. So, can a ghost and a demon both
possess or maybe influence the living?
Yes. And I've had those cases. Where are these homes you're going into?
One of them is nearby here, the Winchester Mystery House. Essentially, it's a haunted mansion. And then the next one is a haunted doll island in Mexico City. The last place is perhaps the scariest. It's a house infested with a demon. Do you have any advice for us going into some of these places where we may come into contact with not so nice spirits?
Are we still on camera?
Yeah.
Okay. If these places you're going claim to have spiritual attachments, I would do nothing to invite them into any kind of conversation. I would do nothing to invite them to somehow show themselves or taunt them in any way. You don't want to create a tie with them.
So treat it like a fine art museum.
I would.
Would it be possible for you to perhaps bless some water or something for me to carry?
Yes. Do you have something?
It's literally just a water bottle.
That's fine. I can bless it. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. In your kindness, hear our prayers and pour down the blessing into this element, so that the health obtained by calling upon your holy name may be made secure against all attack through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you for sitting down with us, and thank you for...
Yeah,
Was this helpful?
fascinating.
This
yeah,
was super helpful, and I feel a lot better about
Good.
what's about to happen.
Good.
Like, I just feel so comforted right now, and where we're about to go, it's going to be the exact opposite, so...
Yeah.
You're not worried about that at all?
No.
I'll give you a... Why are we doing this? I don't know if we got this on camera, but he told me, do not be afraid. I mean, I won't, I am very scared, but
Okay. Do not be afraid.
if anything happens, just do not be afraid. That's all you have to keep repeating. He said it a bunch of times in the Bible.
Jesus said chill.
Jesus said chill, yeah, sure. All right now we're on our way to the Winchester. Just met with the pastor.
Got our holy water, got our tips, our demon tips. This looks like Disneyland. I wouldn't be surprised if they got cotton candy in there.
Yuck it up, man, yuck it up. You're really enjoying this, but when the lights go off, this may be a little different.
This is beautiful.
This would be awesome to do. Just like an overnight.
You are full of shit if you do not feel strange right now.
No, I don't.
You're such a fucking shyster, dude. The hair on the back of my neck is standing over, and this is crazy. Right now, we're sitting in the bedroom of Sarah Winchester, who built this mansion as the result of a terrible tragedy. Sarah actually passed away in this very room, in that bed right there.
Hell of a bed. I assure you, in like half of the places you've been, people have died there. People have probably died in the Chipotle we just ate at.
Let's just get into it.
Okay.
Sarah Pardee was born around 1840 to a very wealthy family. In 1862, in her early 20s, Sarah married William Winchester, whose father, Oliver Winchester, founded the company that made the Winchester repeating rifle, a rifle that will become the ultimate weapon of death in the wars to come. In 1866, Sarah and William had their first child, Annie Pardee Winchester, but unfortunately, their daughter would die from a disease called marasmus only a month and a half later. In 1880, William's father, Oliver Winchester, passed away, leaving the company to William. But William contracted tuberculosis shortly after and tragically died in March 1881, only a few months after his father.
Oh.
That was the most disingenuous.
That was real.
Okay. Now that we laid down the facts, let's get into the legend. William's death was almost unbearable for Sarah, who, according to legend, reached out to spiritualists and mediums in Boston to help her understand the deaths of her daughter and husband. Many believe that it was one fateful visit to a particular medium that would change her life. The medium told Sarah that her family was being haunted by the spirits of those killed by the Winchester rifle, and that her family members' deaths were retribution. The medium said Sarah's family was cursed, and that the only way to lift the curse was to move west and build a house, and never stop building.
Well, I think I know the end of this story.
The good spirits would guide her on what to build, and if she continued building, she could live forever. But if she stopped, the evil spirits that were victims of the Winchester rifle would haunt Sarah forever.
If you can live forever, great. But if you have to continue to build a house that entire time, unless you're having fun, which I don't think she was.
Well, she wasn't like putting on a hard hat and like physically making the house herself. She was delegating.
Well, then that's why she didn't live forever. Because she found a loophole.
I won't argue that your logic is flawed. I just hate it because it's detrimental to my argument.
It's fine.
Needless to say, Sarah followed the medium's advice and moved west, where she built an 8-room farmhouse in San Jose. It is estimated that 500 to 600 rooms were built, but due to her constant remodeling, only 161 rooms remain, one of which was newly discovered in October 2016.
You think the ghost just checked in every like 3 to 5 years?
Check
like,
their time
we
card.
should see if she's still building that, otherwise we gotta kill her.
However, what makes this mansion famous isn't the size or amount of rooms. It's the odd and peculiar nature in which they were constructed. It was built this way in an effort to confuse the evil spirits that were haunting and following Sarah. The walkways are narrow and twist and turn around the mansion. There are stairs that lead to the ceiling and doors that open into brick walls. And in one instance, a door known as the Door to Nowhere that opens to a sheer drop on the outside of the house from the 2nd floor.
I can't imagine a ghost would get foiled into falling into these bushes down here, but the thought is nice.
All right, now that we've established the legend, let's discuss some possible alternate theories as to why Sarah built the way she did. One theory that explains some unfinished aspects of the house is Sarah's arthritis that affected her late in her life. One area called the Hall of Fires is a hallway lined with fireplaces, its purpose to perhaps aid Sarah's arthritis. This could provide a reason for an unfinished staircase, as she possibly saw no reason to complete it. But I struggle to see how this explains a door to nowhere.
Nobody is building a house like this because they have arthritis.
I'm saying this
That
is
is not a
this is a theory. I'm just stating the
No one
theories.
says, "Oh, my knuckles feel a little funny. I'm going to build a house with 500 rooms."
I hear you, man. I agree with you. I'm just saying this is a theory that people believe, and I'm relaying the theory.
Those people are idiots.
I mean, you know what the doctor says. Nothing's better for arthritis than a 2-story drop to the floor down below, right?
Right, yeah.
Another theory is that Sarah needed a change of scenery and continued to build to keep her mind occupied and off her grief.
Now that, yeah.
So
maybe she just wasn't very good at planning.
And she did that for her entire life.
Yeah, for her entire life.
Okay. Just why I'm
Hey, we all need hobbies.
Another theory comes from historian Mary Jo Ignafo, who investigated Sarah Winchester. Ignafo believes Sarah was devoted to building because she was interested in architecture. Ignafo reports that Sarah's own letters reveal that construction stopped at months at a time, despite what legend would suggest. Ignafo also explains the unfinished state of rooms as the result of an earthquake in 1906 that caused damage to the house, theorizing that Sarah simply shut down that area of the house rather than attempting repairs. And finally, she also could not find evidence that Sarah communicated with spirits.
Although, I will say, I can't imagine communicating with spirits produces any kind of receipt.
No, nobody has evidence of that.
Okay, I'm just saying, I call bullshit on
Yeah,
that.
I agree with your calling of bullshit.
Good. I'm glad we agree on something for once.
Yeah, we've done it.
Okay, we've done it. We've done it. Let's go home now.
But enough conjecture. Let's look at some of the spiritually active areas of this very unsettling house.
Oh, this room looks like a nightmare. That's fun.
There's a few rooms in this house that strike me as, okay, this is ghost town. This could be it. Oops. The way the shadows play with your mind.
Well, I didn't see something, I heard something. I heard a noise right up there. Came from up there.
Probably bats.
That's also a concern, I mean, but...
Bats are no.
This fucking guy.
One room that is particularly important is a room called the Blue Room, or as some know it, the Seance Room. A room where Sarah would allegedly communicate with the good spirits on a nightly basis for building guidance. The room has 3 entrances and one door that is like a trap door dropping into the kitchen down below. And not surprisingly, this is one of the most active rooms in the house, with reports of organ music being heard, cold spots, and people experiencing dizziness.
What is this thing doing? It's making noises.
What is...
Put your hustle on pause for now. Nabilo, the refreshing taste of arrival.
I just took out a brand new battery. I just took off the plastic from it and put it in, and it drained it all the way to 0.
This is highly unusual. I've never seen it do this before.
Just gonna ignore you and fix the issue.
I'm gonna lock myself in here with a ghost. I turned my flashlight off. This is horrifying. I bet Ryan wouldn't do this.
Oh, fucking come on, man. I knew he was gonna do that. It still scared me. Fuck you.
The house as a whole has reports of hearing people breathing, footsteps, hearing screws being unscrewed and dropped to the floor, full-body apparitions of servants, with the most famous spirit being Sarah herself, often seen in her bedroom. Naturally, one of the creepiest and most active places in the entire house is the basement, where guests and workers often claim to see the ghost of a caretaker named Clyde pushing a wheelbarrow. Why I'm walking here by my fucking self is beyond me. Fuck, I'm so scared. Ah, man. All right, apparently this is where a recurring ghost is seen.
What are you? Hey, man, calm down.
You piece of shit, Shane.
My mic went out, and then I was looking for you.
He's crouching in here like some kind of cave creature.
And then all I did was I went. I was just coming
so
to say hello to you.
You're looking for me while grunting like a zombie. You almost scared me to death. I'm never gonna forgive you for that. Hope you're fucking proud of yourself.
I thought you saw me.
Bullshit! You thought I saw you.
I really didn't think it was gonna work.
Sarah seemingly lived a life of solitude. She reportedly wore a dark veil at almost all times to mask her appearance. And in 1922, Sarah died at the age of 83. In the end, the questions remain. Was this just the result of a woman filled with grief? Or were the evil spirits that haunted Sarah Winchester so horrifying that they drove her and perhaps possessed her to build until her death?
She probably believed that spirits did say this to her. Whether or not that's a thing that actually happened,
So you're saying it's more along the lines of grief that produced perhaps.
I mean, she went through some pretty harrowing stuff.
I made a
Let
little
me just ask you
snake.
straight out: do you believe ghosts are real right now?
No.
Why do you not believe ghosts are real?
I've never seen one.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can't see that you are real. I feel like.
What can't I see?
You can't see gravity. That's real.
Yeah, I can drop an apple.
Guess you'll just never believe me until
Look,
something.
hey, this whole entire trip, I'm ready. Hey, ghosts, tussle my hair.
I would do nothing to invite them to somehow show themselves or taunt them in any way.
Give me a little purple nurple or something. Let's have some fun. Here I am.
Regardless, the real reason behind the creation of the Winchester Mystery House will remain unsolved.
I'm so proud of her for doing this, by the way. It's really something.
You're the worst.
No, I'm genuinely, like, this is neat.
If I have to spend one more moment sitting in this chair looking at that silly face, I think I may murder you myself. All right, we're getting out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's leave this house.
Checking out San Jose.
Onward.
Onward to Mexico.
Yeah, why not?
So we're going to Mexico, so that's pretty cool. We don't have to go to our next horrible place until tomorrow, so I think we're going to enjoy the city a little bit tonight.
All right. I don't know if this is a sign, but I'm in the bathroom at this bar, and this mirror literally has blood dripping from it. But I'm gonna go order another beer, so we're good.
Salud.
We're getting a drink in Mexico, and we ran into the Grim from Harry Potter. This is crazy. Mexico City is such a nice city.
Yeah, it is.
Shame we're on our way to a nightmare.
You're on your way to a nightmare. I'm on my way to a nice retreat.
Okay, we'll see. Right now we are, we're being carted over to the dock.
We were just sort of put on here. I don't know.
I guess that's how easy it is to trick us. Oh, get on. Okay. Oh, fuck. That was almost a two-bike trolley collision right there. So, I'm actually not quite sure where we are right now.
No, it's fine. You just get it. You just go with the flow, Ryan.
That's what people usually say on their way to their death. So we survived our little trolley over here. We're joined by Pepe from BuzzFeed Mexico.
Hola, amigos.
Right now we're on the outskirts of Mexico City in the ancient Aztec canals of Xochimilco, heading to our next location, the terrifying Island of the Dolls.
This is a mistake. Oh yeah, there's also a thunderstorm about to roll in, so that's fine.
Ryan, you big baby.
He looks fine. Look at the kid's fine. And now I feel like a big weenie.
You are a big weenie.
Right, exactly.
It's been said that people don't like these canals due to the bad energy. Those who navigate the canals claim the dolls lure them to the island. One Trajinera operator claims that he was even possessed for multiple days when approaching the island. This is the beginning of a horror movie right now. We're here, and it's raining. Lovely. Shall we?
Yep.
You go. You will go first.
Oh, I go first? All right. Okay. It's an ominous cloud in the sky. Some very atmospheric thunder.
Well, this seems all horrible and awful in general.
And this, so, wow. Someone
Speechless.
committed their life to this.
Oh, there's spiders everywhere, so that's nice.
See, I'm more concerned about the spiders than the ghosts.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Seems easy.
This island is not as pleasant at night.
So Pepe, you're telling me you don't come here every weekend?
Yeah, where's Pepe?
No, this is not one of my favorite places.
In the 1950s in Mexico, Don Julian Santana Barrera was persecuted for being overzealous in his religious beliefs. After that, for reasons unclear, Julian abandoned his wife and child and moved to the island Ratonite in the Xochimilco canals in the outskirts
I am going to mute my mic because I'm eating a snack and I think it's rude for you guys to hear me chewing. So I'm going to mute this and we're going to watch this together.
Outskirts of Mexico City. The island we're sitting on is a chinampa, a man-made floating garden engineered by the Aztecs centuries ago.
Dope. I'm sure they'd be thrilled with what it's become.
Yeah, you think this is what they had in mind?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, monkey. Oh,
Monkey?
okay. No, I thought I got bit in the ass cheeks by a spider. There's a lot of spiders here.
They're huge.
Julian lived on this island in isolation, and the story goes that he discovered the body of a young girl off the shore of the island. Julian was reportedly overcome with grief due to the fact that he could not save this little girl. Legend has it that shortly after her body emerged, a doll appeared where her body was.
I don't even know how deep this water is. Like if someone were to drown in this, I feel like it looks like it's shallow, but I guess it's deceiving.
Ah, this place is creepy.
Yep.
Oh, look, a teddy bear. Oh, fuck, a spider.
Julian thought the doll probably belonged to the girl, and he hung it up on a tree on the island. His reasons for doing this vary depending on who is telling the story. Some believe he did this to honor the little girl's spirit. Others believe he did this to appease the spirit and protect himself and the island. Another variation is that Julian hung the doll to protect the girl's spirit from demons in the afterlife. Whatever the reason is, the girl's existence has never been officially confirmed.
Okay. Wait, the dead girl wasn't
The dead girl was not confirmed.
Well, what happened to her body?
I don't know. This is a long time ago.
What did he do with it?
I don't know. We're in the canals of Mexico. This is like, I don't know how things work. Is that how things work?
It was the 1950s.
Probably spiders hate her.
However, Julian didn't stop at one doll. Instead, he began to amass perhaps the creepiest collection in the history of collections. Perhaps he felt the more dolls he hung up, the more protected he would be from the spirit.
He'd get along well with old Sarah Winchester.
One could say that.
He has a lifelong mission to appease the ghosts.
I think it's more a protection thing. He just doesn't want to die.
He is wearing a Kevlar vest in that case.
He would hunt for the lost dolls from the canals and trash near the island, stringing them up in whatever dilapidated condition he found them. And as his island grew, so did the island's reputation, drawing new visitors that would trade dolls for produce grown on the island, consequently creating an extraordinarily bizarre barter system.
He probably fucks the dolls. Can I say that?
Oh, I thought you would have like some respect for this place, but
nope, went straight with he fucks the dolls.
Yeah, I'm with Pepe on this.
This is getting way off track.
Sorry, okay.
The compulsion to collect and hang these dolls was so extreme that those close to him believed he was driven by an unseen force that changed him forever. A force that many believe was the spirit of the young girl, haunting or perhaps possessing him to hang the dolls for 50 straight years in isolation on this island. Though he initially seemed to hang the dolls out of respect and a desire for protection, close friends claim that Julian eventually began to believe the dolls were possessed.
Anytime I get even remotely spooked, I just look to the monkey with the sunglasses. Let's get a great shot of that thing.
Those 50 years bring us to 2001, when the collecting of dolls came to an abrupt end. Julian's nephew, Anastasio, came to the island to help Julian plant pumpkins. According to Anastasio, he left to work on the garden, and when he returned, he discovered the body of his uncle floating in the canal. What's notably chilling is the fact that Julian's body was found drowned in the same spot the girl was found.
This is where it went down. This is where he drowned, right here.
Cool.
Anastasio, who moved to the island after Julian's death, claims the dolls, quote, move their heads and whisper to each other, end quote.
They've got dolls that piss themselves.
I mean, do you think these dolls look like they have remotely any kind of technological capability?
There was a Mickey Mouse over there with a little pull string.
Did it work?
I don't know, I didn't touch it.
I feel like you touched it.
Hi, kids! I did touch it. Oh, God.
Who do you think haunts this island?
¿Quién cree usted que esté como en la isla?
Pues la muchacha que se ahoga en 1950 porque en las noches se escuchan voces de mujer. Y mi tío, cuando estaba en vida, caminaba con sus tenis y su bastoncito, ahora se escucha igual.
Is that a bed?
Is that a guy?
Wait, what?
Should we poke it with a stick?
How about you, Shane? You poke it with a stick.
There's no one there. Is this a dream come true for you, Ryan?
I can't say that. Don Julian Santana Barrera was 80 at the time of his death. Some people think that the dolls, or the spirits that inhabit them, might have killed Julian.
Sure. If that's what it's going to take to get us out of here, then yes, I believe in all of this. Put it on Wikipedia and let's leave.
But to finish this off, let's visit the area that has the most hidden activity on the island. It's a shrine that Julian built inside a shed for his favorite dolls, including the original doll that Julian found all those years ago. This is the shed where he kept his shrine, and there's candles inside, great. I did bring a little doll of my own. This seems like a good spot to leave it, right? Or should I put it in the lap of the original?
This is a fucking nightmare.
Oh, man.
You got that right.
There's the original right here.
What? Where?
The one that looks... Oh, the fuck? What the fuck was that? Holy shit balls. I was just about to put the offering on the original doll and then...
Holy shit, look at the spider coming out of it.
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, these are fucking huge. Let's go.
This is also his favorite doll right here.
Okay, I don't care what his favorite. Fuck that. Let's go.
There's cats right there. Oh, fuck me. There are spiders everywhere.
Look at the size of that thing.
I'm gonna go under.
Okay.
Okay.
We've had our fun.
No, thank you.
We're leaving this island. Where's Pepe?
I'm over here. Ah, fuck. Spiders.
No, this is the island of spiders, not the dolls. Oh, they're everywhere. Ah, Jesus Christ. Then you just run into possessed dolls? Toodaloo, Julian.
Literally,
Can't
it's
say
a
it was
no for me.
pleasurable.
I can't. I won't do it.
Okay. In the end, Julian was remembered as a nice and welcoming man, but the mystery of his eventual death remains. Was it the result of his own compulsive behavior? Or was it the result of the spirit that he claimed haunted him for the last 50+ years of his life? For now, and perhaps forever, the case remains unsolved.
I like spiders. I think spiders are good. I think they're a great
Me too,
little
Shane.
insect or arachnid.
Me too, but they stay in their lane.
But
we don't need to hang out.
everything about that place. I would love to bring Father Thomas to this island.
I don't think Father Thomas would be that down.
I don't think he would. What makes you think that?
Oh, because I don't know if you could exorcise spiders away.
Yeah.
All right, on the way to Kansas. It's gonna be our showdown with the demon to end the trip.
We've defeated the spiders.
Killed all the
Set
spiders.
that whole island on fire.
We survived the spirits of Winchester. I got my holy water ready. I'm ready for this showdown.
I don't think you are, frankly.
No, me either.
Right now, we're on our way to a house widely considered to be infested with a demon that tortured a young family. The grand finale. We're going to the Selly house.
I much more enjoyed The Boys versus like Zach Bagans because Bagans be hella emotional about everything.
Everyone thinks feeling energy is bullshit, but you don't feel strange at all? Not even a little bit?
No, not really. Oh shit, what up? I'm taking a selfie with some demons, yo. Hell yeah, what?
The show would not be the same without
I'll
Shane.
be good. Gonna snap that. What's ma-
You're insufferable. I'm just working myself up to it, you know.
Sure. Are you alright, man?
Let's get in there. Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna get the fucking holy water.
Okay. Okay.
Joke on who you want. And don't ask me for some later.
I won't. All they need is some WD-40, and that will. sure. You're really selling it, huh? Little baby. Man, this is nice. You know what a place like this would cost in Los Angeles? With an arm and a leg.
Literally.
Let's just tell the story of this house. How about that?
Ryan, don't look over here. There's a little stuffed animal. Don't wanna.
Right now, we're sitting in the living room of the Sally house. Our sleeping bags are right there because we foolishly plan on sleeping here for some stupid reason. I've lived my life by one adage, and that's don't fuck with demons.
It's an adventure. I just love seeing you squirm.
Let's just get into why this house is.
Tell your spooky story.
Located at 508 North 2nd Street in Atchison, Kansas, the Sally House is the ultimate haunted house and widely considered to be one of the most haunted places in America. Built between 1867 and 1871, this house has had 3 deaths inside its walls. Michael Finney in 1872, William True in 1918, and Agnes True in 1939.
People die, you know what I mean?
But while the deaths have perhaps added to the house's ghostly inhabitants, the real evil comes from something much different.
Everywhere.
All right, I think he's here. So we call the paranormal investigator over.
Sure.
Hey. How's it going, man? Ryan.
Eric Insbrenner.
Shane.
Nice to meet you.
I think this is all bullshit.
Half of it is. I brought a little bit.
I'm not gonna communicate with shit.
I would do nothing to invite them into any kind of conversation.
We are.
You're already doing it.
I'll be standing in the background.
While multiple residents of the Sally House have experienced paranormal activity, it wasn't until the 1990s when Deborah and Tony Pickman moved in that the activity was fully realized. What follows is based on their first-hand account of what started as a small haunting and later developed into a living nightmare. Deborah and Tony Pickman moved in on December 31st, 1992. The haunting started small. Lights in their house would dim. Their dog would bark incessantly at the entrance to the nursery, and their newborn baby would wake up every hour, quote, as if someone was playing with him, end quote. The Pickman's neighbor could see the nursery window from her house and eventually asked Deborah why she kept the light on in the nursery all night long with the baby sleeping in there. This question came as an icy shock to Deborah, who always turned the light off.
Oh.
It was a little weird, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anyways.
Things got especially weird on July 14th, 1993, when Deborah, Tony, and her sister Karen discovered all the stuffed animals in the nursery organized into a neat circle back to back in the middle of the room on the floor. The 3 of them figured it was one of them playing a practical joke, so they put the animals back, turned off the light, and went downstairs. To their horror, when they returned, not only was the light on, but a bear was knocked off its chair and laying on its back on the ground.
We better get out of this house. Somebody knocked our little bear out of his little wicker chair.
You're telling me you wouldn't be unnerved by going upstairs and seeing a bunch of stuffed animals organized into a little cult circle when no one did it?
So who did, I don't know.
After that, like anybody would, they packed up some stuff, took their baby, and left the house to stay with Tony's parents.
Did they bring the bear?
I don't believe they brought the bear.
On what level are most hauntings just like paranoia?
While they were leaving
stress,
the house,
like,
Tony felt a
what else
sharp
was
sting
his
in his
family
back.
going through?
When they lifted up his shirt, they discovered 3 long
I guess
scratches.
in turn then,
Tony would continue to get viciously scratched as time went on, and in one instance, a scratch manifested
energies.
while on video. The Pickmans eventually returned to a psychic, who picked up on a presence named Sally.
Sally, if you're here, or any spirit that's here, let's communicate. Here's a flashlight. If you can turn the flashlight on and let us know you're here, that'd be great.
he like wants it so bad.
It's a little monkey. We saw one of those on the island of the haunted dolls.
According to Deborah Pickman, on the morning of October 31st, 1993, Tony went to grab a glass of orange juice in the kitchen. When he turned around, he saw a little girl in early 1900s clothing. Shortly after, he sketched what he saw for Deborah.
All right, we are in the kitchen.
Please turn the light on for us.
Please don't do it.
Demon?
Stop calling it that.
Demon.
Stop it, stop talking to it.
No, I just want to talk to the demons. We met a pal named Father Thomas. He told us not to talk to you, but I think you guys are swell.
I would do nothing to invite them to somehow show themselves or taunt them in any way.
If you like the guy staying here, turn the light on.
You're fucking crazy, Shane.
If you don't like us, turn it on.
Please don't turn it on. Please don't.
What the fuck?
Oh, shit.
Can't be demons in this house. Look at all these hearts. This house is full of love.
Where's my holy water?
Where's my holy water? If you actually don't like us, please Just turn it on. I don't think they have the power to turn it back on again, frankly. I really think they don't. Ryan. Are you fucking kidding me? Keep in mind, we have to spend the night here.
Ryan is 100% the Bagans of this show.
Don't you fucking do it.
Turn it all the way off. Thank you. Oh.
Fuck, no, oh my God. What
Please try.
Oh my God. You should have never talked to it, dude.
That's a car going by. It's okay.
No,
It's
that's
okay.
the fucking flashlight rolling in the background.
Look, it's coming back.
Oh yeah, it is. Well, it's a flashlight. It rolls. It's cylindrical.
But it shouldn't roll back and forth like
What?
that.
You should have never talked to it, dude. What is wrong with you?
In what may be a curious coincidence, a former resident who lived in the house shortly before the Pickmans said, quote, "My daughter was 5 at the time. She had an imaginary friend, Sally. I would scold her for something and she would come back and tell me, I didn't do that, Sally did it. Or Sally told me to do it."
Not
When
one
shown
of them.
Tony Pickman's drawing 11 years after they moved out of the house, the daughter identified it as her imaginary friend from her childhood.
Do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do not be afraid.
Do not be afraid.
Hey, just sit down. It's fine. Okay. Oh, don't hurt your.
Oh, fuck, okay. Sorry.
I mean, sure. We don't know how to explain that. Maybe it's just, flashlights are funny like that.
The Pickmans also reported fires that would start on their own. In fact, 2 former residents before the Pickmans reported fires starting inexplicably in the room that would eventually become the Pickmans' nursery. The activity continued to escalate beyond fires, however. A lamp was thrown at Tony's mother. Tony reported hearing scratching behind his bed. Quote, "almost like you had an animal digging to get out of the wall," end quote. And in one instance, Sally appeared in the room and grabbed Tony's wrist, burning dark red finger marks into his arm. At this point, Tony believed, quote, "we're dealing with something way beyond a little girl," end quote, and
Maybe
begged
she's like
to
a
leave
really
the
mad
house.
little
Yet
girl or
Deborah,
something,
who at this point never witnessed anything
knows what she
alarming,
went through.
didn't share the same desire.
This was the 90s. People had video
Could have been
recorders.
murdered.
I mean, the scratches all happen on camera, but here's the thing. This is what I fucking love about, paranormal evidence. People are always clamoring for it, right? Like, where's the evidence? And then when the evidence finally is there, it's like,
It's
fake.
fake.
Things eventually went beyond physical terror, however. Here's another
I'm a
quote
firm
from Tony.
believer. If I'm not there to
Quote,
see it
"It got to
myself,
the
I
point
cannot
where
guarantee
when
it
I was in the
happened."
house, I could not think any happy thought. It was just strictly I wanted to hurt her. I was a whole different person. That something could come inside me and make me capable of doing that. It tears me up. As much as I hate to say it, I'd planned on slitting her throat."
Jesus Christ! If you slit my throat tonight, I'm gonna have a hard time forgiving you for that.
Would you haunt me for the rest of my life?
No, because I'll be dead.
Well,
Ghosts
then-
aren't real.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
In 1994, the Pickmans finally
Fair
moved out of the house. But at this point, you're probably wondering, who is Sally? From what I could find, records show that a Sally Isabel Hall did indeed live in the house in 1905, but she was actually a 34-year-old black woman.
Wait. What?
Hear me out here.
Okay.
While this may seem damning at first, the implications of this are actually quite horrifying. If there was, in fact, never a girl named Sally who lived here, then who or what was this alleged spirit presenting itself as a little girl named Sally? That question led me to this piece of research. Sometimes, inhuman presences or demons will allegedly present themselves as humans that are physically flawed. Or in some cases, perhaps like this one, they may appear as children.
It always looks so frightened.
That demon's racist. He was like, oh, there was a black lady who lived here? Wait a minute. No, I can't haunt with that.
Well, demons...
What about a little white girl? A little blonde one. I'll give her pigtails.
Demons don't...
Fuck that demon. He's whitewashing the history of this house. He's exactly what's wrong with Hollywood.
Demons don't present themselves
Exactly
as
what's
adults. That's what I was saying. They present themselves as
Ever?
No,
This
an
sounds-
entity that's not human, it needs energy. It needs souls to feed off of. So if you need that, you wouldn't immediately come out with the horns. You come out with the little girl. That makes sense to me.
Whatever. Demon's racist. I don't respect his demon.
But what really suggests the presence of a demon
Tell
is
him,
something
Shane.
that occurred in the basement well after the Pickmans left the house. A female tenant, her husband, and their children moved into the house and reported no paranormal activity. But on a surprise visit from landlord
sense.
Les Smith, he allegedly discovered something terrifying in the basement. A large pentagram on the floor, an altar, a large black kettle, and a black robe.
a pointy hat, a broomstick,
Right.
Hey, man.
3 newts,
This is
a
what he
lizard tongue, eyeballs.
That's what he found.
Many believe that this female tenant was a Satan worshiper, performing sacrificial rituals. To this day, there's a black mark on the floor where the alleged rituals took place. Consequently, many believe
Where else
the
are you
demon
supposed to get
lives
your
in this
spirituality
basement,
on, huh?
specifically
Not in the
in the
basement?
hole in the back wall. Which brings me back to something Father
Blasphemy.
Thomas told us about demons.
I was reading about something called infestation, where like a demon will just take hold of a house.
So
I'm gonna
if
mute
that
this
family
again,
was
'cause I feel
involved
like
in
my
a
crunching
satanic
is
cult
too
and they
loud.
were doing other kinds of rituals and spells that are part of the cult, it would not at all surprise me if there was something demonic still attached, because that's where that cult basically had a home.
And it opened the portal there.
Absolutely.
So if you're there in the hole, you want to speak to us or communicate with us, turn that flashlight on.
Please don't, please don't, please don't.
That's me, sorry.
Oh, thank God. Fucking thank you,
So we're
God.
giving off high MF here because of this.
Whoa, oh, that thing.
So that's a false read. But since there's a lot of electricity coming through here, that's saying they can feed a spirit.
Oh, that's good. Let's feed it more. Why not, right? He's hungry.
If you want to eat my heart, turn that light on. I think this demon's a wimp.
He's lost his mind.
You want to lay on the pentagram?
Here we go.
You're out of your mind.
Rock and roll, buckaroo. If you want to eat my heart, turn that light on. If you want to eat Ryan's heart,
Don't
turn
stop
that light
putting
on.
me in your shit.
Our old pal Ryan Bergara.
Stop.
We're a package deal. Oh, the lights on, Ryan. Look at the lights. Demon, we got him.
Jesus Christ.
Turn it off for us, please. For Ryan's sake.
Ah, no!
Fuck this house, dude. Fuck this house so hard.
Well, now we get to spend the night here.
Here's a fun fact about sleeping here. One past resident described waking up to a, quote, grotesque and gaunt, dead-looking individual not only laying next to her, but staring at her, end quote.
Here's the thing. I discount almost 100% of, I saw it in the middle. Of the night things, because sleep paralysis, oftentimes most people wake up and see shit.
If I wake up tonight and there's this grotesque looking thing laying next to me and just staring at me with its fucking stupid beady eyes open, I'm gonna shit myself. There's gonna be poo in my sleeping bag. And I'm just gonna carry out the sleeping
You're
bag.
just gonna
full of
roll it
poo.
up and
I'm
put
gonna
it in
roll
the
it up,
garbage can?
put it in the garbage can. My big fucking poo burrito, and that's I'm never coming back. I'll leave all the shit. I'm fucking never coming back. The fact that we're sleeping in this house after what we saw is astounding.
I'm proud of you, Ryan.
Time to sleep. Lights out, I guess.
So we're gonna sleep here all night. It's gonna be dreadfully quiet. You know, it's weird thinking what's directly below us is that basement.
Why would you say that? I'm gonna get closer to you. I don't care.
Okay. Every little pin drop that you hear, every little creak, it's gonna make your butthole tighten.
Don't be afraid. I thought I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. I will stay in this house till 5 a.m. If I sleep,
Your
I
eyes
sleep.
were
If I
like
don't,
damn
I
near
don't.
closed.
I
What
think
do
it
you
would
mean?
be a sleep full night for me if it weren't for you. Oh, the light went out outside. Did you turn that out?
No.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't, no.
Oh, weird.
And nope. I'm man enough to admit this is not happening tonight. I can't. It's not happening. It's not happening ever.
Okay, man. Look, it's okay.
I think I just blacked out.
You've given up?
Don't say it like that.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening.
Here's what I'll do. The witching hour is at 3, right?
Why is it 3?
That's to mock the Holy Trinity. Sometimes you'll hear 3 knocks. That's a demon. When it hits 3 o'clock, I will be quiet for 3 minutes.
No, you won't.
I will. Can you give me time updates, like 1 minute, 2 minutes?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. That's a minute. That's another minute. 3, 2, done.
Oh, thank you, Jesus Christ.
Were you freaking out?
Yeah. The wave of relief that just is sweeping over my body right now. Oh, there's a part of me right now that feels foolish for getting up. But
you should feel foolish.
Are you trying to convince me to stay in here?
Well, no, I just think it's silly to just give up at the last minute, but whatever, you know, it's no big deal. Look, you've made up your mind.
Shane's over here just trying to get a
You don't
full
have it
night's
in
sleep, man. He's like,
Stop saying that. You're making me want to do it.
I could be in bed right now.
Do not be afraid.
Do not be afraid.
You're right. I don't have it in me. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
All right.
Fuck you. I hope you fucking looking at this now, motherfucker.
Did you just call the demon a motherfucker?
I don't give a shit now. I'm gone. I got my laptop, I got my holy water, got the card that I need
My
here.
laptop, my
Peace
holy
out,
water.
bitch. Not even a single part of me feels bad about leaving. Go fuck yourself, Sally House. You were truly awful, and I hate you. This is the happiest moment of my life.
I would think it'd be the most embarrassing, but
Nope, I'm pretty happy.
there's the house.
Cool. Fuck that house. Goodbye. In the end, it's up for debate on what haunts
okay,
the Sally
Ryan.
House. The Pikmin seem to believe it's a demon. And in my opinion, nothing I experience suggests otherwise. But as always, the answer will remain unsolved. All right. It's been a couple days. We've had some time to recuperate and actually get a gauge of what we saw or think we saw.
Really a lot to process.
You know, the first 2 locations I wasn't sure. My confidence was starting to waver, even at the last place till like about halfway through. But when that flashlight turned on, I think that's proof positive. Ghosts and or demons are real. There's no other explanation for it.
No, I just think it was a wonderful coincidence. And I'm glad it happened because we got to see you turn into a babbling mess.
Coincidence 5 times in a row?
He screwed the flashlight to right in between the on and off.
Even if it's on the edge, like the very edge, it still needs just a little bit of a push.
No, it doesn't.
And you know who gave it that push?
Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Perhaps.
Look, I'm happy to let you believe in this because I think it's fun that you believe in it because if we go to more places, it's going to be fun to watch you freak out some more. So, great.
We're never gonna agree. Are demons and ghosts real? Can they influence people? Let's just call it unsolved. How about that?
No, but we sure had fun.
All right, let's get out of here. I'll finish my beer, actually.
Yeah, finish your beer.
Taking this with me, too.
He looks like really happy. Look at that little face. He looks like he's eating grapes.
These fucking creeps in this house are driving me insane. What's in here? Whoa, what is that?
That's a mirror. Oh, there's a guy in there who looks just like me.
Oh, if I turned the light back on and there was something standing right
Isn't
there.
it crazy how the light over there was just like pooling
Yeah,
in?
there was a pool of light over there. That's really interesting. Let's get the fuck out of here. This is insane. This is one of the craziest experiences of my life.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like coming back at night?
I don't want to imagine that. Can't you just let me enjoy the moment for once?
No.
Father Thomas would be so proud of us.
I don't think you would, to be honest.
Why?
Because you directly disobeyed everything you said. You laid on the floor on the pentagram with your belly bared for the demon to smack.
Yeah. And he didn't. What a trip it's been. We've seen a lot of stuff. Seen spiders. We've seen ghouls.
Yep. And Ryan survived it all.
Promise to be faithful to King Viserys and to his name.
Which one's next? Oh, yeah.
So we're about to discuss a case of demonic possession so chilling and controversial that it actually became the movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose. What follows is the true story that inspired that, The Exorcism of Annalise Michel.
Ooh.
It's one of the few actual cases of demonic possession that went to court.
All right.
It's a
Wait, did they sue the demon?
You'll find out.
Okay.
Born in 1952 in the small town of Klingenberg in Bavaria, Germany, Annalise Michel was raised as a strict Catholic and was described as very bright and likable. In September 1968, when Annalise was 16 years old, she experienced her first episode of losing consciousness. And later that night, she
This
felt
kind of
as if
goes with
something
my
was
point that
pressing
I was
down on
making
her
earlier,
chest,
that I think a
pinning
lot
her
of
to
these
her bed. 11 months later, in August
exorcisms are
1969, a similar
abusive
event occurred,
instead
and her
of,
mother took Annalise to their family doctor, Dr.
figuring
Boat,
out what kind
and
of
a neurologist,
psychosis she
Dr.
has.
Luthi,
They're
who examined her and even ran an
expelling
EEG, a brain scan, but found nothing wrong. They hypothesized that it could possibly be a form of seizure. Over the next 3 years, Annalise would have 2 more similar episodes and was prescribed 2 medications, an anticonvulsant medication and an anti-seizure medication called Dilantin. On both occasions, an EEG would come back normal, with some minor irregular patterns, but nothing that would definitively explain her symptoms.
What year was this?
This was in 1969.
Okay, I'm fine with that so far. That sounds real.
Okay.
Little spiders on me. Sorry if I blew it on you.
Well, you did.
It was in spring 1973 that things took a turn for the stranger. Annalise began to hear knocking sounds in her bedroom, sounds her sisters would hear as well. But even more alarming, Annalise also reported hearing a voice damning her to hell. Her mother was further rattled when she witnessed Annalise furiously staring at a statue of the Virgin Mary with, quote, eyes turned black, jet black, and her hands seemed to turn into thick paws with claws.
What? Those are some chunky paws on her daughter. Uh-oh.
You know what? Let's move on. Let's not get caught up on the bare hands.
Maybe the psychosis runs in the family.
Having paws.
I knew you weren't gonna like that. I'm just gonna move past.
She had little kitty cat paws.
In September 1973, in a neurological visit with Dr. Luthi, Annalise described horrific visions of demon faces that were tormenting her and stated that she felt the devil was inside her. She also reported smelling something that had the aroma of burnt feces, a stench that many around her would report smelling at later times.
Why do all these people know what burnt feces smells like?
Well, I could imagine it just smells like feces,
Like
but a little,
shit on fire?
a little smokier. Fucking, oh fuck, is that a bee? See what you get? This is what you get. Yes, sick 'em. Oh,
Around
Just
this
trying
time,
to say hi,
Annalise's
guys.
mother described these strange occurrences to Dr. Luthi, who, according to Mrs. Michel, advised them to consult a Jesuit, a claim that Dr. Luthi would later deny.
Yeah, that's a bad doctor.
Yeah, I mean, if he said that,
Don't go see it.
that's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not that's true, the family definitely searched for a priest and eventually found a priest named Father Alt. In November 1973, Annalise met with a Freudian psychiatrist who diagnosed her as a neurotic with possible epilepsy, and another neurologist found she had, quote, epileptic patterns, and took her off Dilantin and put her on Tegretol, a much stronger drug. In July 1975, Annalise's extremely odd behavior worsened. She barely slept and prayed fervently all night. She ate spiders and flies, and even licked her own urine up from the floor. She destroyed rosaries, crucifixes, and holy pictures on the walls. Annalise also exhibited strength that was,
Sounds
quote,
like,
close to
you know,
superhuman, throwing her sister, quote,
somebody who's
as if she
super
were a rag
religious
doll,
was super
and incredibly
abusive,
was
putting
observed
her into, like, a
effortlessly squeezing an
psychosis or-
apple with one hand until, quote, fragments
I don't know
exploded throughout the
exactly,
room.
but
I bet I could squeeze an apple till it exploded.
I bet you $1 million you couldn't.
Here we go. I mean, this is Germany. This is before preservatives.
You hear that in the distance? It's the excuse train coming.
before preservatives.
Wait for it. You're full of shit, Ryan. We're going.
Now you can't just see two hands.
Well, she definitely used two hands.
You said one
She
hand.
definitely used two hands.
But still, that's not like an amazing metric.
A priest named Father Rodewick, a man considered an expert on exorcisms by his peers, reported that he was convinced that Annalise was possessed, and after deliberation with the bishop, an exorcism on Annalise was formally approved. It was to be carried out by a priest named Father Renz. On September 24th,
I'm never
1975, the first exorcism rite was
possibility
performed. Father Renz allowed some of the
demon possession.
exorcism sessions to be recorded, and 42 audio recordings of the
But I
exorcisms
think like
were made
one
in
in
total.
like
I'm gonna play some clips from those
100,000,
recordings, but fair warning,
maybe.
these
Like, I don't know what
recordings
the
are
odds would
perhaps
be.
the most disturbing pieces of audio I've ever heard.
Spricht das so, dass ich in dem Wald rein bin. Ich trag Idiotsnase noch so lang, bis es lebt wird. Saublöde Weib. Für uns die Zeit zurück. Nee, in alle Ewigkeit.
You know, she's screaming.
Right, you know, she's screaming.
Californians have a choice on sports betting. Prop 27 generates hundreds of millions every year to permanently fund getting people off the streets and into housing. Prop 26, not a dime to solve homelessness.
Right.
Vote yes on 27.
She's giving it 110%.
I mean, do you think that sounds like it came out of a girl? Like,
yes, it sounds like a
Yeah.
girl doing a funny voice.
Absolutely.
But
your unrelenting
Like a
skepticism
mentally
is
ill girl
exhausting.
doing a funny voice.
It drains me of all happiness and energy, and I hope you know that.
Wer ist der Judas, der Nero, der Kain und der Hitler? Quetstimme. Das ist der Sechste? Oh, den haben wir gelogen. Den habt ihr dazu gelogen.
That's all. We're all here. It's all, I ran out of evil people to think of. The blonde man from Die Hard is also in here. Skeletor from Masters of the Universe. Heath Ledger's Joker. Not Jack Nicholson. He was too cartoonish. You had your fun.
Yeah, I've had my fun.
Okay.
Annalise also named Fleischmann as one of her demons and provided accurate details of the real Fleischmann, who was a priest in the 1500s that was kicked out of the church for bad behavior. These details came as an icy shock to Father Alt, who claims Annalise would have no way of knowing Fleischmann.
That is the
She
only
didn't, like,
thing
read a book?
that is strange to me.
Or-
All the other stuff is just things that a person could do.
To learn more about demonic possession, we sat down with Father Gary Thomas, a Vatican-approved exorcist, who explained to us different signs of possession. All of these Annalise had.
One would be an aversion to the sacred. So a person walks in this church and can't look at a crucifix, and you only see the whites of their eyes. Another would be knowledge of hidden things, where the demon will begin to tell you things about yourself that the person himself would have no way of knowing. Another would be possessing a kind of inordinate physical strength they don't normally possess.
How do we
The
pick
last-
and
the last
choose
sign
what a
is
person,
sort of
like what you think they should or
seizures on a
shouldn't
person's
know?
face and the movement of
There's
their
no
arms
way
and
she
legs
could have
in a
ever
way where
known
they
this,
move
but like she's
By
16.
May, Annalise became even worse.
I'm sure she
banging her
was
head against
somewhere
the wall
at some
and biting
point with
herself and others,
books
to the
and,
point where her family had to tie her up to prevent her from
know,
hurting
like-
herself. But most dangerously, Annalise refused to eat. She described it as, quote, not being
Psychosis?
permitted to eat. Despite being quite frail, likely weighing under 80 pounds, she exhibited great strength when people tried to restrain her.
Yeah, I just feel bad for her at this point.
Yeah, I do feel bad for her.
She's definitely tortured.
By June, Annalise's entire face was sunken. She also refused a doctor visit, even though she had a very high fever. On June 30th, Annalise had another exorcism.
She
only saying,
refused it?
please, absolution. The next morning, her family went to her room and found her dead. Despite seeking medical attention early on, Annalise refused to submit to medical attention in the end, as she and her family ultimately placed all faith of recovery into the exorcisms. She died of starvation at the age of 23 after 67 exorcisms, weighing only 68 pounds at the time of her death.
Do you think that just made her like buy into it more? If
Right,
people started exercising me on the reg,
exercising you on the reg?
On
yeah,
the reg.
I might eventually be like, I guess I'm demons.
I would agree with that frame of mind, but Annalise's belief that she was possessed predates
all the
exorcisms or the priests. any
Right,
of
but
that
like
stuff.
who put it in
After
her in the
death,
beginning? Like her
Annalise's
mom, her
parents
dad,
and
like
the two priests were accused of negligent homicide, and the case went to trial
Good
in
on ya.
1978.
Me
What follows
too.
are the two sides of that case. First, let's review the position of the defense. The defense presented eyewitness testimony and formally submitted the recordings as evidence of possession, an idea that the court never seemed to take seriously. From a non-religious standpoint, the defense argued Annalise was permitted to deny medical treatment, as was her lawful right. For what it's worth, medical treatment might have included tranquilizing her, force-feeding her, and electroshock therapy. Quote, all presumably against her will, end quote. Family friend Thea Hine recalled in her testimony that in 1976, a few months before Annalise's death, Annalise reportedly, quote, begged on her knees for Hine to not suggest medical attention to anybody. Also worth noting is the fact that Father Alt actually looked for medical help towards the end. And on May 30th, his friend Dr. Richard Roth visited Annalise out of what he claims was scientific curiosity and not as a physician.
He just was like, I'm not here as a doctor. I just want to see some of this crazy shit.
I know, who fucking says that?
I want to see this girl eat some spiders.
That's like something you say when you go to the zoo, not when you go see someone that's tied up.
That is a bad man right there.
Okay.
In his visit, Dr. Roth claims Annalise had no external injuries, although Father Renz noted she had several bruises, a swollen cheek, and black eyes. An interesting contradiction, to say the least. Dr. Roth also denied saying, quote, there are no injections against the devil, end quote.
Shady.
Shady as fuck.
Shady.
Curiously, in spite of all the supposed epileptic attacks, an autopsy revealed Annalise had a healthy brain with no damage that could have caused epileptic seizures. Quote, not even on a microscopic level, end quote.
Like, no offense, but maybe they were looking in the wrong place for, I mean, this is a while back.
I hope my children see in me a fighter, a person who's going to step up.
What say you to that?
I mean, you know, look, I'm not a, what's a brain scientist?
A neurologist?
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, it's been a long day.
I'm not a
neurologist. I don't know what the.
It's funny that you said that because the neurologist said the exact same thing.
Yeah. He said I'm not a neurologist?
Probably it sounds like it. You might as well.
Look, I don't fucking know.
I don't know. Go visit a Jesuit. Jesus.
Just get your shit stink out of my office.
And even more curious was the court's seeming non-consideration of facts, such as her pupils being unusually dilated and the absence of ulcers on her body, which are
maybe they were like
in victims of starvation.
I don't know. Maybe the parents had like Munchausen's or something, and they were like slowly poisoning her with anything. Like
now, let's review the
it's
position
so hard
of the
to tell when
prosecution.
you're literally not
the
there.
prosecution
But
argued
possession.
that Annalise had epilepsy and psychosis, and that the parents and two
no
priests
shit.
were liable for failing to act to save her life. The defense tore down notions of possession. They questioned the credibility of Father Alt, with the conclusion from two experts that Father Alt exhibited signs of schizophrenia.
Whoa!
Okay.
That's weird.
He wasn't the guy that was doing the exorcisms, but he was the guy that initially helped Annalise in the beginning.
The prosecution also argued that the medications given successfully suppressed the epilepsy-like seizures, and argued that that suppression morphed into, quote, a delusional psychosis associated with epilepsy, end quote. They argued that Annalise's psychosis was exacerbated by the exorcism, which only played into her fantasy. To piggyback on that, Annalise often went through phases between exorcisms where she behaved normally. Even though she would behave as a possessed person during exorcisms, it's unclear if the epilepsy-like seizures were stopped by medication or if they actually stopped on their own. But Annalise's psychotic visions predate the alleged medical suppression.
Weird. Sorry.
Basically, they're saying that the psychosis was brought on by the suppression of the drugs.
Yeah.
But this psychosis predates the drugs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In the end, the court ruled in favor of the prosecution, sentencing the 4 defendants to 6 months in prison with suspension for 3 years and payment for all court costs. The court ruled that Annalise was unable to make decisions for herself and should have been forced to submit to medical care. Professor Felicitas D. Goodman, an author of a book on the case, notes the theories that Annalise was epileptic were presented as, quote, a statement of undisputable fact, not conjecture, as in fact they had been, end quote. How do you tell the difference between possession and mental health?
Sometimes both are going along side by side. You have to determine what is the root cause of the suffering of this individual. You start out with a discernment, and the discernment involves myself and a whole team of people. I have a medical doctor, a clinical psychologist, and a psychiatrist. In fact, a formal exorcism only happens as the last resort.
Given the evidence that we've seen and all the strange occurrences and the voices, I think there is sufficient evidence to not conclusively rule out that she was possessed beyond a reasonable doubt.
Sure.
So you acknowledge that.
I acknowledge there's a lot of factors in this case. I personally think there's something going on with mental health, and I'm also think that 67 exorcisms probably don't leave your mind in a good spot.
I could see both sides. I could see how it would be mental health. I could see how it would be possession. I lean towards possession. That being said, she should have gone to the hospital.
Get that girl to a hospital,
She's
please.
possessed
For
or
real.
not. Fucking force her to go to the hospital and let the doctors be like, holy
Like,
shit,
if you're
there's shit
gonna
floating around.
PSA.
Die.
Don't take him to an exorcist. Take him to an exorcist, but do it at the hospital.
Right.
No, don't take them straight to the hospital.
You can do
Just
both.
go
That's
to
what I'm
the
saying. You can do both. You can have it happen at the hospital.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
Regardless of the court ruling, many have debated what actually led to Annalise's death. Was it a case of mental illness, possibly epilepsy? Or was this a legitimate case
Most
of demonic
definitely.
possession? Whatever the real reason may be, the case of Annalise Michel is a tragedy and will always remain unsolved.
I think we're done here.
No, we're not. I'm gonna crush this.
You're not crushing it.
I'm gonna get some juice out of this thing.
I don't know what's making me happier, the fact that you can't get it, or the struggle in your face as you see your case slipping through your fingers.
This
like
is not
grains
the
of
case
sand.
slipping through my fingers.
Just like grains of sand just falling. This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we covered the puzzling case of Gloria Ramirez, or as she's more known on the internet, the Toxic Woman. Her death is, yeah.
Don't cite the internet.
Her case is so bizarre that it actually served as the inspiration for an episode of The X-Files and many other TV shows. Right now, we're on our way to
the
Riverside,
X-Files.
California, to
I
visit
love the
cemetery where she was
X-Files.
buried. So without further ado, let's get into it.
You know you were gonna be a creepy adult when you just like
Gloria
grew up
Ramirez
watching
was a 31-year-old woman
X-Files
diagnosed
and
with cervical
Goosebumps
cancer.
and
On
Tales
February
of the
19th,
Crypt
1994, around 8:15 p.m.,
all
Gloria
that chaos,
Ramirez
you know?
arrived at the Riverside General Hospital emergency room, where it was found that Ramirez's heart was beating at a rate too fast for her body. The medical staff attempted to defibrillate, but soon noticed that Ramirez's body was covered in an oily sheen, and that her mouth was emanating a strange, fruity, garlicky smell.
What the fuck?
I mean, could you even detect fruity garlic if it came down to it?
I bet they talked about it for 10 minutes and we're like, what is that?
Right.
And then one of them was like, fruity garlic. And everyone was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
God, we have a patient here.
A nurse named Susan Kane began to draw blood from Ramirez, and upon doing so, Kane noticed the blood had a chemical odor. Even stranger, medical resident Julie Gorchinsky noticed the blood-filled syringe also contained strange manila-colored particles floating in the blood, an observation also noted by attending physician Dr. Humberto Ochoa. Shortly after, Nurse Kane abruptly fainted. Kane stated that her face was burning and was escorted out on a gurney. This sparked a bizarre domino effect. Medical resident Julie Gorchinsky complained of lightheadedness and also fainted. She shook and experienced apnea, a condition where a person stops breathing for a few seconds at a time.
If I were to hear, what?
I know, right?
Directly after that, respiratory therapist Maureen Welch also collapsed. Here's a quote from Welch.
Is this like
Quote,
a
"I remember hearing
hysteria,
someone
or is
scream.
this like
Then I woke up. I couldn't
some
control
sort
the
of
movement
potent
of my
poison
limbs."
that, you know,
End
like
quote.
This woman is
seeps
like
through your
she's-
pores.
Like she sounds like
a
the
contagious
Manhattan
type.
Project.
In case you're keeping score, that's 3 people that fainted.
Other staff members reported feeling sick, and the hospital declared an internal emergency. All other patients were evacuated to the parking lot, and a small crew continued to work to save Gloria's life.
It seems odd to evacuate all other patients.
Why?
Maybe just send the stink bomb out to the parking lot.
That is true. Why didn't they just take
It
her
had
out?
to be a huge amount of work to move everybody else out. What if we take all of the patients outside and put them in the parking lot? Yep, good idea.
Yep, good idea.
You know, we could just
Shut up! You idiot, we've already decided.
However, at 8:50 p.m., Ramirez was pronounced dead. The body was moved into an isolation anteroom by 2 other staff members. Sally Balderas, a nurse who helped move the body, began to vomit and reported feeling a burning sensation like Nurse Susan Kane. Balderas was hospitalized for 10 days and experienced apnea like Gorchinsky. Gorchinsky, however, was in the worst shape of all. staying in intensive care experiencing a malady of issues, including avascular necrosis, a condition where bone tissue
Not
does not receive
psychosis,
enough
then. It's
blood
not
and
like
begins
a
to die.
shared
She
illusion.
used crutches for months after hospitalization. All staff members that had been affected by Ramirez's body were treated in the parking lot, and their clothes were removed and put in bags out of fear of a toxic chemical. In the end, Ramirez's body affected 23 of the 37 emergency room staff, and 5 staff members were held in the hospital overnight.
I don't think, though, like, maybe one of them was like, oh, I feel sick, I gotta go home. And the other ones were like, yeah, me too, a burning pain, I gotta go home, I gotta go.
You'd think this was all
Yeah.
elaborate.
I gotta go.
Like, not like a hoax, but you know what I mean? Like,
Around 11 p.m., about 2 hours after the incident, a hazardous materials team arrived in full hazmat suits. They searched the hospital for 2 toxic chemicals that could possibly be responsible. However, no chemical was found. 6 days later, an autopsy was performed by the Riverside Coroner's Office in airtight suits in a newly configured airtight examining room. They took samples of blood, tissue, and even air from the body bag. Nothing conclusive came from the autopsy.
These hazmat guys will get it.
what if it's a
They got an
natural
airtight room.
substance? What if you
And then
guys are
it's
looking
like,
for a
what?
poison, but it's
Yeah, I
like
don't know,
a
man. This is
mushroom
fucking
or
Weird.
County of
Discover your solar savings
something
in
natural.
seconds with a free, no-obligation ballpark estimate
like
at
belladonna or-
AmbrosSolar.com. Just click
I mean, I
on
guess
Get
you
Your
would know
Estimate
to
and
look for
take the
that
guesswork
now,
out
but
of going
something
green
like
right
that
now
that's,
with
like, not as
AmbrosSolar. AmbrosSolar,
obvious.
your #1 source for solar.
officials called her death, quote, the most baffling in local history, end quote. And the mystery became a media frenzy. By the end, medical detectives from 10 different local, state, and federal forensic departments investigated the case. On April 20th, 1994, Gloria was finally buried in Riverside, California, a full 2 months after her death.
So here we are. This is where she was buried. You know, cemeteries are always very spooky and eerie. Are you sniffing? What is wrong with you?
Let me see if it smells like fruity garlic.
Jesus Christ. All right, we're gonna get back in the car if you're gonna keep doing that.
All right, well,
Pay our respects.
sorry, Gloria.
Sorry, Gloria.
Weird way to die.
The official cause of death was cardiac dysrhythmia, caused by kidney failure due to her cervical cancer, and with that, the case was officially closed. However, the cause of the puzzling illnesses at the emergency room remained a mystery.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I was in that office and the guy was like, well, case closed. I feel like everybody else in the office was like,
You forgetting
wanna
something?
Close that case?
With that being said, let's hop into some of the theories as to what occurred that night.
Ooh.
The first theory comes from the California Department of Health and Human Services.
Reputable, I think.
Well, I think this theory's bullshit, but
Okay, well,
Anyways.
it would be to you. The most reputable, logical, fact-based source. Yeah.
Total horseshit.
Horseshit.
Total
We interviewed
horseshit.
34 emergency room staff members on duty that night. They concluded that the emergency room staff experienced a mass sociogenic illness, or mass hysteria, which is defined as an illness
Yeah,
with no
but I feel
identifiable
like-
environmental cause, despite a group of people agreeing on a set of experienced
Maybe
symptoms.
some of
Good,
them.
yeah.
you think they all just imagined it at the same time?
No.
That's happened
23
before.
people. No,
There's
just
a bunch
like-
of those people in France who started dancing until they died.
What?
Yeah,
You just made that up right now.
it's a real thing, pal.
Coming soon on Unsolved.
They pointed to the absence of poison in Gloria's system, and the fact that nobody in the ambulance on the way to the hospital had experienced any symptoms.
But how can
Most mass sociogenic illnesses have an environmental trigger.
like, really, like,
that
you can
sets off the
internalize it that
experiencing of
much that it, like,
symptoms. The
puts you in
California Department
intensive
of
care?
Health identified the strange odor as this trigger.
You know, the mind is a powerful thing.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, 23 of the people were affected, and not all of them were in that room.
Word travels fast in the hospital.
They're all texting each other. Yo, come check out the fruity garlicky smell.
You
in
don't
room
think?
5."
They were probably shouting down the hallways at each other.
However, Julie Gorchinsky, the medical resident most affected by the incident, filed a lawsuit for $6 million against the coroner's office and the hospital, and disapproved of this explanation. Maureen Welch, the respiratory therapist, also felt she was not a victim of mass hysteria.
The whole idea of hysteria is that you don't realize it. You're not like, yeah, we all participated in a mass hysteria. It was a real riot. Gorchinsky was, man, she got fucked up. She was having a great time. What a fun hysteria that was.
You know, it's not like a flash mob.
No, it's not a flash.
Okay.
The second theory is from the Livermore Laboratory, who had discovered abnormally large amounts of a compound called dimethyl sulfone in Gloria's autopsy samples. To explain this, they theorized that Gloria used an anti-inflammatory gel called DMSO to cope with her cancer pains. The gel would account for the garlicky smell and oily sheen. And interestingly enough, DMSO is one oxygen atom away from the compound dimethylsulfone, the mysterious compound found in excess in Gloria's autopsy samples. The Livermore lab performed a test, combining DMSO with oxygen, much like the oxygen mask administered to Gloria that night. And the result was an oversaturation of dimethylsulfone to the point where white crystals were formed. Crystals that look similar to the manila-colored particles seen in Gloria's blood by the medical staff that night. And with that, they proved how the dimethylsulfone could have appeared. But the reality is that dimethylsulfone is still harmless. However, the team theorized that if the dimethylsulfone broke down, perhaps due to the electric shocks of the defibrillator as people on the internet have suggested, and then combined with natural sulfate compounds inside Gloria, it could form dimethylsulfate, which is a strong chemical that can cause damage to the heart, liver, and kidneys. It also can cause paralysis, delirium, and convulsions, to name a few. Symptoms that are uncannily similar to those experienced by the medical staff that night.
This
Well, there you
one's
go.
sounding
Essentially, there was an excess
less
of this
and
one
less
compound.
unsolved
And
because
they figured
to
that
me
this
that
compound
sounds
could break down
pretty
and combine with sulfate, which sometimes occurs in
straightforward.
bodies.
Yeah.
You
It
know?
would cause this really, really poisonous compound.
And you don't believe this because
You'll see.
However, their theory that dimethyl was formed inside Gloria has been highly scrutinized by other scientists as impossible. And it's also worth noting that the Livermore lab did not run any tests.
I
to
think with
try and
7
prove
billion
this
people
theory
on the
or
planet,
create a
there's
successful simulation.
more chance of anything happening. At least in one person on the planet. But let's hear it out.
In fact, the head of the lab himself admits it is merely a theory. Quote, "We've never said this is what happened, just that people should look into it," end quote.
He backpedaled really quick.
Yeah, he really did.
Nonetheless, the coroner's office ran away with this theory and released a statement in November 1994 stating it as the most likely cause. The third theory is from the
Okay, well,
Ramirez
let's hear it
family,
though, like-
who believes that the emergency room incident and Gloria's death were due to the hazardous conditions already present at Riverside General Hospital. In fact, in 1991, 3 years before Gloria's death, 2 hospital employees were forced to receive medical treatment after a sterilizer may have leaked poisonous gas.
Oh, what?
3 years before.
Not great.
No, it's not ideal.
Not a great track record.
In 1993, sewer gas was found in the emergency room in an inspection. Here's a quote from Gloria's sister Maggie. Quote, "I honestly believe my sister may have lived if she hadn't gone into that emergency room that night. I don't know what the county is afraid of, but we want answers." End quote. There are 3 strange occurrences to support this theory, and may suggest a possible cover-up from the county.
This goes all the way to the top. I don't know if we should be looking into
I mean, that
this,
makes
Ryan.
sense too. We weren't there. We don't know what the conditions were like, really.
Oh, they're
But
good, yeah.
the
We're gonna
paper
wake up
trail
tomorrow morning, you have an oily sheen
seems
on
to
your
be
chest.
That's a calling card?
I
saying
can't wait
that
till
they
the story
have
is over
a
so I never have to say the word sheen.
or have had
ever
problems
again.
before.
What
You
is
know?
with you and Sheen?
I don't like it. It's too close to my name.
You don't want the nickname Garlicky Sheen Shane?
No, no, I don't.
The first is that after the initial autopsy, Riverside County Deputy Coroner Dan Capito said that Gloria had not died from natural causes. But after the county revealed their official autopsy conclusions, Capito flip-flopped, claiming Ramirez had in fact died from natural causes.
Capito.
Capito.
Yeah, I know it was you, Capito.
The second strange occurrence is that the initial investigator from the coroner's office, Stephanie Albright, a woman considered a top investigator, had committed suicide 1 month into the investigation. Deputy Coroner Dan
That doesn't
Capito said
scream
that due to
guilty.
the case, Albright, quote, "may have been under pressure," end quote. The third and perhaps most peculiar occurrence was the fact that the syringe used to take Ramirez's blood was accidentally tossed out. An oversight that is especially
Accidentally.
curious when you consider the fact that the hospital even took the time to put staff members' clothes in bags in the parking lot that night.
Meanwhile, we're playing hot potato with a poison syringe.
With the poison syringe. Oh, this is like one of the weirdest scientific occurrences of all time. Yeah, bag that up, throw it in the
chuck
trash.
it.
Kobe, threw it in.
However, Tom DeSantis, the Riverside County spokesperson, claimed the vents in the emergency room were checked by independent inspectors after Gloria's death, and nothing unusual or harmful was found. Yet, the Ramirez family maintains that something is being covered up, and filed a malpractice and wrongful death lawsuit
All of
against
the
Riverside
above.
County.
I don't know. This one's tough.
positing, they make more and more sense. The first one I was like, yeah, that could be it. And then the second one I was like, oh yeah, great. And now
Me
the
too.
third one is like, oh, there's sewage
Dude,
and poisonous gas in
Shane,
the hospital?
me too.
The fourth theory is from the internet, where many believe that the emergency room incident is a strong case for Gloria Ramirez being a victim of alien abduction.
Okay.
Oh God, okay.
You just shut your mouth
Okay.
and done.
What's the difference between this theory and the other three?
Because the other three are based on facts. and
Right, like,
some pretty plausible,
okay,
that's-
she's just
shut up,
abducted
I
by
can't
aliens.
even- This is. I thought you were like on the level on this one. The first three theories were so grounded in reality, and now you're just like, oh yeah, Bigfoot spooched on her chest.
UFO enthusiasts cite her unusual reaction with the emergency room staff as evidence of extraterrestrial meddling.
Look, I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Can you say definitively that this is not a possibility that she wasn't abducted?
I definitively cannot.
It's a theory then.
Well, get into the theory.
Yeah, finish the
That's
theory,
it.
bro.
Fuck you. That definitively did not happen. Because the theory then is just maybe
Aliens.
it's aliens. Maybe aliens.
Right.
After all these years, the mystery behind the strange occurrence at Riverside General Hospital endures the test of time. Was it a case of mass hysteria? Was this an improbable chemical reaction gone wrong? Perhaps this was a cover-up of poor hospital conditions. Or is this proof of something beyond science, possibly extraterrestrial?
Dude, at this point,
Regardless,
still,
no
all
theory
of
has been
the above,
definitively
except for
proven,
maybe
and the case of
it
Gloria
was
Ramirez
aliens.
remains unsolved.
You know what
Okay.
happened?
All right.
The aliens probably
Aliens.
abducted her.
It was aliens.
The aliens probably abducted her.
Final answer.
The aliens were like, all right, let's do our stuff. Let's do all our little tricks on her. Let's put a little probe up her butthole or whatever they do. And then they probably started throwing up. And they were like, holy shit! And one of
They were
them was
like-
probably like, we should evacuate the whole ship. And someone else was like, fuck that! Drop her off at a hospital.
Oh shit.
Prop 27. It would legalize a massive expansion of online sports gambling in California while sending 90% of profits to the big out-of-state corporations behind Prop 27. Please join over 50 gaming and non-gaming tribes. Vote no on Prop 27.
one more episode, and then I'm gonna call it quits for the day.
God. This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we explored the Whaley House in San Diego, California as part of our ongoing investigation, Are Ghosts Real? And what better place than the Whaley House, which was ranked by Travel Channel's America's Most Haunted as the most haunted house in America.
Number one?
Number one.
Top of the pops?
We're going to the top dog. Let's just get this over with and let's get into the history.
Okay.
Thomas Whaley was born in New York City on October 5th, 1823. In September 1855, Thomas bought land in Old Town San Diego, California. In 1857, Thomas constructed a 2-story brick home for him and his wife Anna, using bricks from his personal brickyard. And the result was the infamous Whaley House that we are investigating today. This is it, the famous Whaley House.
Beautiful house, beautiful
and
house.
Also, in the bustling area of Old Town San Diego, look at this street. Even if we get possessed tonight, we could have a nice brewski after.
Yeah, and we will.
And we will.
No, we have to go in.
Okay. You do the honors.
Okay. After you?
You go first.
Okay.
Oh, this is pleasant. You could feel the history coming from the walls in here.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
Not when the history fights back. Since being built, the Whaley House has been used as many things, including a courtroom and San Diego's first commercial theater, both of which still remain in the house today. But its most famous use was as the home of Thomas and Anna Whaley and their children, who moved in and out of the house throughout the late 1800s and early to mid-1900s.
Peak ghost time.
Peak.
90% of ghosts are from that era.
Yeah, that's true. You never really hear about a ghost from 2010 or so that's wearing like a flannel and ripped jeans or some shit like that. It's always somebody wearing a bonnet. Thomas and Anna Whaley had 3 children within the first few years of living at the Whaley House: Francis Hinton, Thomas Jr., and Anna Amelia. Thomas Jr. tragically died at 18 months of scarlet fever in the house, and that same year, Thomas Sr.'s nearby general store burned down in a case of arson. This dude's son died, his baby died, and someone heard that news. It was like, oh, it's tragic.
Oh, he's grieving. He's probably not paying attention to that store of his.
Burn that down.
Oh.
Monsters living in this town. Devastated, the family moved to San Francisco, where they had 3 more kids: George Hayes Ringel, Violet Eloise, and Corinne Lillian. However, an earthquake in 1868 would force the family to return to live in the Whaley House in San Diego.
It seems like they're followed by doom.
Yeah, I mean, they're really just getting boned by fate right now. This is just not a good time for them.
Not pleasant.
Unfortunately, tragedy would continue to fall on the family over the years, as Violet Whaley would kill herself in 1885. She shot herself in the heart in the backyard outhouse due to grief over her failed marriage. Thomas Whaley found her dying and brought her inside the house into the back of the parlor, where she passed away 15 minutes later. Over the next 68 years, 3 members of the Whaley family would die inside the house. Anna Whaley in 1913, Francis in 1914, and then Lillian in 1953.
Maybe he
now
shot
that we've
her.
established the history,
You
let's
know, like, the
examine the
marriage
ghostly
is over
inhabitants
already,
that are believed to haunt these walls, and give this house the reputation as the most haunted house in America.
Do you think because you believe in all this stuff that you have a higher chance of being a ghost?
Oh yeah, I would think so. I'd be a pleasant ghost. I'd like pour people tea and stuff like that.
What?
Or I'd do chores around the house. They'd
There's
be like,
no-
whoa, all my laundry's folded. How about that? Thanks, Ryan. And I'd tip my cap and I'd tap dance out of the room.
You sound fun.
Yeah, right? Doesn't that sound great? Wouldn't you like to be haunted by me? The first ghosts we'll discuss are Thomas Jr. and Violet Whaley. Infant cries are often heard in the house, an experience likely attributed to the fact that Thomas Jr. died from scarlet fever inside the house at the age of 18 months. On the second floor of the house in the back room, people have seen a young woman and report feeling a profound sorrow in this area. This young woman is believed to be Violet Whaley. EVP session in what may be Violet's room.
This is the sorrowful room. Do you feel sorrowful in here?
No, not really. I prefer, actually, I'm fine with not talking too much to her because she's
Violet, we're going to be very, very quiet right now. And if you want to deliver us a message, please whisper it faintly into one of our ears. Or,
oh, you son of a...
Or something. Okay. Or make Ryan's tummy grumble. And here we go.
Now you feel sleepy?
Yeah. We're in a bedroom. That's fair.
There are other spiritually active areas of the house with unidentified sightings of apparitions. In the early 1900s, the house was rented out to various tenants by Lillian, so it's possible these unidentified apparitions could be the spirits of former tenants. Some have seen a little girl in the dining room. Vaudeville music is sometimes heard in the theater room.
If there is anybody in here, perhaps you want to do a little dance for us?
And psychics that have visited the house say the courtroom is especially active.
What do you feel in here?
I feel a little bit like I'm being watched, but I don't mind it.
A woman is sometimes seen here in the back corner of the jury box. Paranormal investigators also claim this back corner is a spiritual vortex.
Spirit, if you're here and you're angry, Ryan would like to feel a shiver up his spine. They don't respond to specific requests.
That is true. You kind of just have to wait for it to happen.
Maybe it's a good portal.
Maybe.
My flashlight went out.
Are you serious? Perhaps battery?
No.
No.
I mean, possibly, but I don't know.
It's a ghost.
Do you feel something?
No, there's creaking in this chair next to me. Maybe it's just because it's old wood.
Old wood doesn't creak by itself.
Any other time, Shane would he'd be the first
fuck,
person
dude,
to be
I
like,
feel
it's old
very
wood, it creaks
weird.
by itself.
Drop it on Disney Plus to see all your favorites.
Head to Hulu to watch the latest hits, movies.
Pop by ESPN Plus to catch a game or an original.
Looking for your next streaming destination? Come to Bundletown.
Get the Disney bundle only $13.99 a month.
Why do you feel weird?
Why do you feel weird?
You feel dizzy.
Yeah, I'm not shitting you. I know every time people watch these ghost hunter shows, they're like, this guy's full of shit, but holy balls, dude. Wow.
Could it possibly be that you yourself have,
I don't like this.
I don't know, an emotional or physical response
What was
to...
that? Did you get a shiver up your spine?
I did. Holy shit. Oh man, that was crazy. What the fuck is going on, dude?
Can you still move all your limbs?
Oh, I can still move all my limbs. I just feel very uncomfortable.
My goodness.
I know you don't believe
How
me.
much of this is psychosomatic? I want to go. I want to do it. I want to be there, record my own
I don't
ghost.
feel particularly strange. It's not a great chair.
Outside the house, another police officer also had a paranormal experience more than 30 years ago. There was a 911 call from a concerned citizen reporting a woman crying outside the Whaley house. And the officer who responded to that call would witness something that he would only reveal in his confidential retirement letter decades later. When the officer came onto the property, he saw, quote,
at that time,
a
the
woman at
memory
the
is
back
so
of the house
warped.
crying, end quote, and mentioned she was in period clothing. The officer asked, quote, ma'am, are you all right, end quote, to which she turned around and smiled. And when the officer shone his flashlight on her, the woman vanished. Bizarrely, the house also sports the rare instance of a ghost dog and a ghost cat, both of which the Whaleys owned at the time.
Then are there also ghost ants?
I'd like to circle back to the fact that,
ghost trees?
No, there's no ghost trees. I'm sorry.
You're not telling someone's never walked through the forest and seen a tree.
Why are the ghosts always from this prime ghost era and never from like
a second ago.
You know what?
I don't know.
I've changed my
2
stance on
years
ghost
ago,
trees. It's actually pretty cool.
do you have
Ghost
to be a 100-year-old ghost to be able to manifest?
Two other ghosts
in
that haunt
100
the
years
house
from now,
are Thomas
the
and
person
Anna
who
Whaley
died in
themselves.
2017, will
Many
they be a
reports
ghost?
seeing Thomas Whaley on the upper landing, where one person claimed he wore a frock coat and pantaloons. Some have reported that he blows tobacco smoke in visitors' faces.
I can't even.
Now that's just rude.
I know, it's kind of just addicting to do.
Can you imagine seeing a ghost? Oh my goodness, look at this strange apparition. And he just comes up to you and he's like, you're like, oh, Jesus, man.
Anna Whaley is typically seen in the garden or in one of the downstairs rooms. Anna has also been spotted wearing a green gingham dress, sipping tea in the parlor, a place where Thomas has been seen as well. Interestingly, Anna also reportedly had a run-in with the San Diego police. One night, a Whaley House tour guide named Victor Santana was setting the alarm. and as he was punching in the code, he heard a woman say, quote, "Why are you here?" End quote, which spooked him to the point that he ran out the front door without completing the code, setting off the alarm. Shortly after, a San Diego police officer responded to the Whaley house. Santana recollects the officer, quote, claimed there was a woman in a green dress in the parlor, end quote. But by the time backup arrived, the woman in green had disappeared. How do you arrest a ghost? You can't. You handcuff
I guess
them.
you would have to be a ghost cop.
You know what? I rescind what I said
Makes
earlier.
sense.
I won't pour tea and full clothes. I'll be a ghost cop.
Yeah, that's actually pretty
I'll be a
Brian
ghost
Bergara,
cop.
Ghost cop. Doesn't that sound nice?
That's awesome.
I like that, yeah. However, the final and perhaps most feared ghost of all is the ghost of Yankee Jim.
You better watch out, or Yankee Jim will give you some taffy. Some folks say they hear him playing a jolly little kazoo tune in the middle of the night. That's not a ghost, that's not a spooky name.
Part of the reason this house is haunted is due to what occurred on the land before the house was constructed. In 1852, James Yankee Jim Robinson was sentenced to hang to his death for attempting to steal a boat. He was hanged on a gallows off the back of a wagon on the land where the Whaley house stands today. This is the grave of Yankee Jim. They did, straight up murder him for, stealing a boat. He didn't even successfully steal the boat, and yet he was still hanged. I mean, he did get a nice little plaque here.
That is a bummer.
You know, if I were him, I would haunt this place.
I would
don't
too.
know.
Like,
yeah, I would too.
Fuck all of y'all.
You know what, Yankee Jim?
It's bullshit.
You know what? I hope you're riding a speedboat in heaven.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you know he's got a great speedboat up in heaven.
Yeah.
You were ahead of your time, Yankee Jim. Rest in peace.
Interestingly enough, Thomas Whaley was reportedly in attendance of that hanging, yet still purchased the land a few years later. A decision that would literally haunt him for decades to come. Thomas and his family would reportedly hear heavy footsteps in the house, an occurrence that Thomas himself would attribute to the ghost of Yankee Jim. Anna Whaley also believed the house was haunted,
Jim belongs
and furthermore believed the property itself was cursed, and perhaps accounted for the tragedy that continually befell the family. But to finish this off, let's spend some time in the parlor, which is believed to be one of the most active areas in the house. This archway was the spot where old Yankee Jim met his demise. And this was where Violet was taken when she was shot. This is where Mrs. Whaley was seen by the policeman.
I'm gonna try and talk to him in here. What if we just one at a time, so it's more private. Just each of us try to just spend like 5 minutes alone.
Let's do it before I change your mind. Come on, let's just do it.
I'll go.
I didn't just put my name on this. This is real for me. I love tequila, so much that I had to make my own.
First.
All right.
5 minutes.
You're an idiot.
It's awfully quiet. Yankee Jim, I hear you're a fan of boats. I myself would love a boat. I'm gonna be quiet now and just embrace the darkness. Here we go. Please do feel free to, make it stink or change the temperature, give me goosebumps, whatever you're feeling. Maybe you'd like to appear to me now and sing a little song about boats. I tried to talk about boats and it didn't work. I found it very calming. I got to be honest. When my 5 minutes was up, I was kind of bummed because it was like almost like meditation.
Shane, I guess it's my turn. No. Okay.
Shane is just like
Ryan.
the
You're gonna be
most
fine.
chillaxed.
Just breathe.
Ryan over here having a panic attack.
If it's any consolation, if there's anybody in here, I am terrified. And if you're scared of me, just know that if you show yourself in front of me, I'm gonna urinate all over this carpet. I do not want to see anybody. I'm not talking to, oh God, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm not talking to anybody. Oh, I'm losing it. I can't. Okay, when are you messing with me? Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, something whispered in my ear. I can't. I can't. I can't.
Okay, wait.
So I sat in here for 5 minutes. I
can't. I can't.
I don't know.
So I sat in here for 5 minutes. You locked me in here by myself, which I already was against from the beginning. Something breathed in my right ear. And it was so prominent, I thought it was you messing with me. I'm honestly in shock right now.
Are you?
Yeah. After being dedicated as a historic house on May 25th, 1960, the Whaley House has received over 100,000 visitors per year, and a countless number of those people report paranormal experiences. For there to be so many instances of reported paranormal activity in the house, I can certainly believe that it is haunted, especially when considering the history. But nonetheless, whether or not the house is definitively haunted will remain unsolved.
But all the ghosts sound like they're just having a laugh.
You mean the guys, Thomas Whaley blowing
He's blowing
tobacco?
smoke in people's face. She's having tea in the garden. The kids are running around, probably laughing.
Ghost dog and ghost cat?
Chasing the ghost dog and ghost cat.
At what point do we consider that these are like
There's a lot going on in this
imprints
house.
of
It sounds like the
energy
Pirates
of the
of the
people
Caribbean
that
carousel when they're just
live
chasing each other?
in
Yeah.
time, and like future, past, and present is like all happening simultaneously? Like, I don't know. I struggle with this concept a lot, but I want to say thank you for everybody who stopped by, everybody who even for 1 second was here to hang out. I appreciate it. Uber, if you're still listening, I appreciate you coming in, chatting it up a bit. And I'll try to maybe be on later, watch some more videos, maybe play a game. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great day.